Hi there, Peter Nelson with Myself Foundation and Hobie University, coming at you today to talk to you about trapezing on the wire, and going to try to show you a few tips that and some do's and don'ts along the way. Okay, so here we have a double trapeze setup. On the newer boats, they go through grommets that are in the trampoline. I found them really helpful because it helps you find the trap every time after attack. You go right to it. I used to have the skipper's trapeze outside the rail, so that way it could run along the back if I was reaching. But actually, I don't do enough reaching where it matters, and when I do reach, it's not a problem. So yeah, I put them through both grommets now. And when you first start out, now here I've got the jib is rigged, so the rig is tensioned, okay? The way I want to go out and sail. The main is not up yet, but we can do this without the main up. So with the jib tensioned, when you start out, I'm going to put this here, you're going to want the handle to be about 6 or 7 inches above the sidebar. This makes it easy to get out. So if you have a new crew, then that's a good place to start. And then as you get better and better, you're going to want to get lower and lower. And I typically like to have mine in flat water at right about the middle of the sidebar, but it makes it really hard to get in and out, so you want to have practice, which is why you start out higher, and then as you get more and more comfortable, you drop it down. This trapeze, my skipper's trapeze, you can actually see is about 1 inch or 2 above the sidebar, and I did that last time I was out. We were in some big waves, and so there I don't want to get pushed off the boat, and so I raised it up. The crew's trapeze to be slightly lower than mine, so that I can look up and over her at the water in front of me. So we'll continue on how the style for trapping out. All right, we've talked about heights and things like that. Having these blocks on here really helps get out there. You've got these stoppers. These stoppers determine the height. So if I move the stopper up, then I move my trapeze higher. And if I move this down, then I can go further and move it down further. Okay? So we use these J and H handles. The other style of handle is what we call a dog bone. It's a piece of metal with 2 loops on it. The one loop is tied here and the other was out here. Get rid of those things. Your dentist loves them because you'll be out there in a wave and that thing will be slapping around and it will just take out your front teeth if it hasn't already. So you get these J&H handles. They're also a lot bigger. You can just go in and you don't even have to look. All right. Whereas a dog bone, you're sitting there going, well, I think it's right there. When I'm on the boat to trap out, obviously I got my main sheet here. All right, and I don't have the main up, but just pretend I do. And what I do is I grab the handle and I hook into it. I then put my hand right underneath in this triangle, right underneath it, and I grab the main sheet, and I usually will take an extra turn on it. I've got my tiller in the hand that's off the transom there, and I will turn, and there's a lot of different ways. This isn't the only way, guys. This is just the way I do it to help. So I turn towards the back, and I've got a 90-degree angle here between my knee and my other knee, and I've got my foot on the hull, and I come in, and then I just sit my butt down, and it's a lot easier when the wind is blowing, and you have some pressure to sit down against. But I sit down, and then I push off. This one comes up, my front foot comes up, and then my rear foot comes up. And as I'm coming out, I sheet the sheet on. And the sheeting of the main on supports my weight out. And it just takes some practice to get used to it. And then, you have to get your feet to not keep them down on the hull. Get them up on the side rail as quick as you can, because otherwise the waves will slip it right off. All right? All right. Once I'm out on the wire, I've got my feet up here and I'm sheeted on, then I usually like to turn my feet forward. Most people, when they trap out, they're just trapping out like a sack of potatoes, and they're pinpointed right there with their head turned. Myself, personally, I like to rotate my upper body because it's a more aggressive style, and it helps me see the whole playing field a lot better in front of me. I tend to steer basically overhand on the tiller, but we'll get into that in another video. And so when I go out, and the other thing most people do is they just sit out here in the sack of potatoes. And trapping out is a very dynamic activity. I am constantly moving in on the lulls and moving out on the pups, and I'm stretching big time on the bigger pups, and it's a constant process. And I'm turned this way. I have my rear foot is at the corner casting, or just a few inches forward of the rear corner. My other foot is slightly wider than my shoulders. It's not out here like this. It's just comfortably slightly broader than my shoulders. My crew has her foot right next to mine, and then her front foot is behind the shrouds by a certain amount, by about 6 inches or so. And the crew comes, we'll go talk about the crew another time, comes out forward of the shroud, but immediately comes back. This is just, I'm going to talk just about the skipper this time. Once I'm trapped out, I got my crew right next to me, I lean forward so my head is directly over her body so I can see everything. I've got her flat out, and in the lulls, she is just moving in and out like this most of the time. Sometimes she'll sit up, but otherwise, it's a very aggressive style where you are just leaning forward and you're hungry and you want more. And you're looking at the waves and steering around them. We'll talk about that all another time. Okay, so we've talked about getting out. We've talked about while we're on the wire and how we're constantly moving up and down. This is where you can gain inches, and the inches turn into boat lengths. How do you get back in? All right, you got 2 hands, and there's that handle. You don't have a third hand. You're like, damn, what am I going to do? This is where it's really helpful with an overhand grip. What I can do is I can take and put the main sheet right in there. I'm steering with this one, and I put my main sheet over like that, and I can grip it like that. That frees my forward hand to grab the handle. I will usually then, I'll put my legs down on the hull, and as I'm pushing on the rudders on the tiller, I lift myself up and land on the trampoline I don't drop that. I land on the trampoline with my on my knees, and then I come in and I break the handle with my forearm, and I'm ready now to move to the new side and complete the tap. That's how you get in and out of a trapeze. And short practicing, obviously. And thanks for watching these MySail videos. Please support us if you can. Donate. Get onto our website and donate. We really could use the funds to help get more kids on the water. Thanks, and make it a great day. Enjoy make it a Hobie day.